Alright, guys, so we're back yet again. We're going to be talking about probably one of my favorite movie franchises of all time. We're going old school. We're going back to '95. We're going to be talking about the very first Friday. Oh my gosh, man. I remember this movie so much. So, funny story actually, before I get into this review. The first time I saw Friday was on TV on Comedy Central. And I absolutely loved it. I laughed so hard, obviously. And it is a good, funny story. So you got Ice Cube in here. You got Chris Tucker, the late John Witherspoon, Tommy Lister Jr., F. Gary, Neil Long, and among many others. We got the late Bernie Mac in here, Regina King, and I did forget Tommy Lister Jr. did pass away. I forgot about that. It's amazing to me that unfortunately there's so many people in this movie has passed away. But Ice Cube plays Craig. We got Chris Tucker who plays Smokey, and they're best friends. And Smokey comes over and say what's up to Craig, but Craig, he's had a hard time. He got fired from his job. He was accused of stealing. So between him and Smokey, they're talking all day, and he's like, he sells weed, and he's like, hey man, you ain't got nothing to do, stimulate your mind, and they just start smoking, having fun on the porch, on a Friday day, and a lot of stuff happens within the neighborhood. One's trying to steal, one's trying to start drama. You got the neighborhood bully come up, Debo, who's played by Terry, and you got, of course, other ones that show up, and Craig's trying to hit on Nia Long's character because again, his current girlfriend is a hood rat, and Smokey's like even dropper, things like that. And throughout the whole movie, it's just a bunch of different things of like you learn about these characters of why Smokey, he's just so addicted to marijuana, and how he accidentally smoked something that really messed him up, and then how Craig, he lives with his mom and his dad and his sister, and he even is like trying to get better because again he's like, man, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, I gotta get out of here, I gotta get money because his dad's threatening to kick him out. And again, there's just a lot of good one-liners in this, man. I mean, again, Chris Tucker acting like Michael Jackson. He's saying about when he meets the so-called girl that Neil Long was trying to hook him up with the whole thing like, bitch, gotta call him looking like Freddie Jackson. I mean, again, dude, I love this movie. I love this movie so much because again, it's just one of those. It's about two buddies in their neighborhood, in the hood, just chilling, having a good day, and dealing with a bunch of problems. I mean, with the street, with the neighborhood bully, with girls, with all these things, man. And it's a funny ass movie. And this is like one of the first things I think Chris Tucker starred in. And Chris Tucker is one of my favorite comedians of all time. And a lot of people want him to return to the other Fridays. I personally want him to return to the other Fridays because Smokey was literally one of my favorite characters because of just like how he was in this. Because again, he plays that normal comedy relief slash, you know, always messing up, always trying to get attention, always trying to go after a girl, normal Chris Tucker shit. Ice Cube, he kind of plays as like the somewhat level headed but strong will, laid back kind of guy till you push him to his limit. And his buddy's just trying like, hey man, I know you've been through some shit, but like, hey, just relax, just take it easy for the day. And that's what they do. And I will say this: watch this movie if you're having a bad day. Definitely watch this movie if you're having a bad day, and you will definitely have a big laugh or a lot of laughs, and it may make you think of where you're from. It may give you some nostalgia of where you're from, where you live now. Someone maybe a family member or something. Because so many things happen in this movie, man. Seeing the girl you like, or the neighbor across the street having an affair, or the neighborhood sleazer always trying to get something out of somebody. The neighborhood bully. The neighborhood crackhead, or the one that is just very that stinky girl. It's always coming around. You don't want to mess with her, or your buddy's saying, "Oh, I got to hook up with this other girl," and the next thing you know, it's not the girl that he was planning on getting with, and it was like, whoa. So again, there's just a bunch of different things. I think when you're in your early 20s, mid 20s, late teens, that again you can definitely relate to this film. Again, even in your 30s, even older than that, you can relate to this film. There's some good lessons in here as well. One of them by John Witherspoon that I truly loved. When him when he goes in, because Smokey is about ready to get in some deep stuff because of his dealer is like, hey man, you owe me this amount of money. If you don't do this, I'm gonna kill you. Craig goes in his room, gets a gun, and John Witherspoon, who plays his father, sees it, and he's like, what's that for? He's like, protection. And he goes into this monologue, and it really hits you. And the whole thing is the whole thing where he says, you don't need a gun to solve a problem. And he's like, you punk. He says, you kids are dating nothing but punks, sissies. He's like, so quick to pick up a gun and too scared to take an ass whipping. And I know I'm quoting here. And the thing I love when he says is like, he puts his fists up. He's like, this is what makes you a man. You win some, you lose some, but you live. You live to fight another day. And that stuck with me because, again, back when I was growing up, there was fights. And then there was other things that was involved growing up. Now it's worse with fighting and other things where people just want to bring a weapon into it. It's not like back when you could just fight, fisticuffs and just, either you took the ass whooping that you got from someone else who was better than you, and then you did it again. You either got your ass kicked again or you kicked theirs. And again, it's not like that anymore. And that quote really stuck with me. And again, John Westerman was a great actor. He was a great actor. He was a great comedian. And that line was amazing. I will say that was an amazing line. So you will definitely get some good lessons out of this movie as well. So, but overall, guys, what do you think of Friday? Hopefully you guys enjoyed this review. Leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, and I'll see you as always on the very next one.